idea was a very good one, but it is left on the people who are going to operate it. Those of us operating it believed in it, and therefore we felt really it has to work.
NIA is a market association of insurance companies in Nigeria, and each company is represented by its chief executive. To that extent, it's an association of equals. We are professional colleagues and all that. Now, the major responsibility of the NIA is to protect the insurance industry generally, and that requires some kind of discipline.
For 10 years, beginning from 1919, an average of 2,900 commercial vehicles were registered in Nigeria annually. It was against this background that the first insurance company, the Royal Exchange Assurance Company Limited, was established in February 1921. The company, which was a branch office of a British insurer, monopolized the market until 1949. When 3 other British insurance companies established their own branches. In 1951, a consultative committee of insurance companies' chief executives operating in Nigeria met regularly to discuss common problems, especially government policies affecting the insurance industry. The body, however, became moribund after a couple of years. The attainment of political independence in 1960, following which Britain, as an imperial power, ceased to determine the political and economic development of Nigeria, created the need for a Nigerian-based body which would protect the interest of insurance. Another reason for the founding of an association of insurance companies was the proliferation of insurers operating in the country. By 1960, there were about 25 insurance companies. As most of the earliest insurance companies established were specialized outfits, efforts were made to establish Life Insurance Officers Association and Accident Insurance Officers Association. Their establishments were influenced by the structure of insurance associations in the United Kingdom, from where the business of insurance was introduced to Nigeria. On the 9th of August 1962, the representatives of insurance companies operating in Nigeria met at the Anchor Building, Lagos, in a renewed effort to resuscitate the consultative committee. The meeting unanimously decided to reform the defunct Nigeria Insurance Consultative Committee. A draft constitution was considered, and after some amendments adopted on motion, at that time, the Nigerian Insurance Consultative Committee consisted of 32 insurance companies. With the exception of Great Nigeria Insurance Company Limited and Universal Insurance Company Limited, all the member companies were branches or agencies of British insurance companies. Towards the end of 1970, members of the committee felt the need had arisen for the emergence of a stronger body of insurance, and consequently proposed to form an association to be registered under the Companies Act as a non-profit making body limited by guarantee. This development must have been informed by 2 main factors, namely government control and establishment of NICON in 1969 as a wholly owned federal government concern, with power to compete with other registered insurance and obtain 105 legal cessions from them. The establishment of NICON was to control the industry in line with its policy of mixed economy. NICON joined the Nigerian Insurance Consultative Committee shortly after its establishment. The inaugural meeting of the Nigerian Insurance Association was held at Ikoyi Hotel, Lagos on the 16th of December 1971. The meeting unanimously decided to invite Malam Aliko Mohammed, Chairman of the National Insurance Corporation of Nigeria, as Chairman of the Association.
NICON was 100% government, federal government owned. Yeah. And really that when NICON is involved in this, it means actually that the government is aware of what is happening. They encouraged us to form this association.
The election of Malam Aliko Mohammed as the first chairman of the association was a recognition of the leadership status of NICON in the industry. In January 1981, the association was incorporated under the Companies Act 1968 as a company limited by guarantee. The body thus acquired a juristic personality and became capable of enforcing its rights, including rights to acquire property in its own name rather than through trustees. In 1990, the association changed its name to Nigerian Insurance Association so as to clearly reflect its professional and business status.
NIA was a major player in the industry because everything revolved around us, the brokers, the NICOM, and so on and so forth. So NIA had that role, and I think they still have that role of ensuring that the industry is sound, that the industry is surviving, because all the problems dovetailed into NIA because NIA the payers of claims that also carry the risk and so on and so forth. So NIA was like a center in the insurance industry in Nigeria.
Having surmounted the teething problems from 1971 to 1990, NIA began to move into the next phase of its growth. But this was not without challenges.
The most serious of them was rate cutting and the outstanding debtors from government organizations.
The major challenge was capitalization.
One major problem was that we had our money locked up for almost the whole year. So when you raised the money, you didn't have the money to use as an operator. I can't remember what led to that delay, but invariably, people who raised money were not able to really use the money to grow their business.
We had challenges with legislation. Different groups from time to time attempted to excise some of the insurance businesses into their sector. So we had challenges, fighting the Employees Compensation Act that came up.
The intention was to get everybody to cooperate. The will was there, but the ability to enforce the will wasn't there in all cases.
Yeah, one of those major challenges, one of them happened to be the issue of tenures, for directors, for chief executives, because then I think the commissioner then brought in some corporate governance that we felt was inimical, to the sustainability of many of those insurance companies. That was when they said, directors should not stay more than 8 years. Those who have stayed 8 years should leave. CEOs should leave after 2 terms of 5 years. And there were some companies that were family business in quote. You're saying that not more than one. Those were really challenging times for us because we were just about stabilizing as a market, and these things came abruptly, and we're just not really giving time But it really distorted the momentum that we were trying to really achieve. But by and large, I think we were able to work through it.
The regulator was at that time contemplating and in fact trying to implement tenure limitation for CEOs, and that meant that the council was going to be empty if it was fully implemented. That was a challenge, and we needed to deal with it.
These were protracted problems that had been on even before I became chairman, but as a member of the governing council I was aware that these problems were there. They were problems that were liable to destroy the industry if they were not properly attended to.
To resolve some of these emerging problems, the association had to devise some ingenious solutions, consult the lead, and application for the approval of rates for risks of not less than 250 million. There was also a market agreement which was executed by all members with effect from September 2002.
And I'm glad that during my term we were able to get an agreement of 105 insurance companies at that time, and all of them signed to that agreement that would be bound by certain rates, especially in the fire and special perils area. And we enforced that agreement to its letter. And then number two, we were able to set up a specialist insurance company that we call Energy and Special Risk Insurance Company to take care of the big risk like oil and gas. At that time, the federal government was trying to create this local content, and insurance was not part of it, and we fought very hard. I must say that Mr. Dolapo Balogun, who became the chairman later, was the driving force. And we set up a company that had capitalization of 400 million at that time. It was twice the required capital, and that would have been a good basis to have that capture of oil and gas businesses. Unfortunately, when the new insurance act came up, the capitalization went to 3 billion, and that company was not able to survive. But I think the insurance industry should go back to that.